is an important country in the Middle East region. It is an important country for oil, gas sector. It is historically important for manufacturing sectors. However, there is a huge problem with democracy and fundamental human rights. Of course, in the union area, there is no proper environment for union choice, freedom of association, and the workers have no right to choose any trade union organization on their own choice. They cannot form their trade unions. They cannot identify the programs of their organizations. And there is no employee representation system. If they want to be represented, the only way, the legal way is to be part of Islamic councils. These are completely against the fundamental ILO conventions 87 and 98. And there is now a hope. 6 different unions, independently, democratically formed. They are not recognized. However, they are de facto the working. So for the IndustriALL Global Union, it is now an important priority and duty to support these unions in their struggle for forming democratic organizations in defending and advancing trade union rights.
Our operations, the operation of our colleagues in Iran, are very, very difficult. They are, in effect, paying with their liberty and their lives and their security for engaging with trade union activities. The organization of any activity is equaled and equated with imprisonment and subsequent torture, subsequent depravity of their work. They will be sacked from their work. So poverty and various other things would be subsequent. Number of the very famous trade unionists in Iran currently are in prison and are paying with their liberty for being courageous to undertake trade union activities. The main issues that the trade unions and trade unionists in Iran are currently picking up are divided in 2. One is that to deal with the day-to-day affairs of the workers, to make sure that the workers are paid and their rights at work are protected. Their health and safety at work is taken seriously, but without a trade union being involved, health and safety at work is completely absent. Iran has got one of the highest number of incident fatalities, work incident fatalities in the world. They say that almost 5 per day in Iran are killed as a result of certain industrial incidents. The workers are not paid their salaries. For months, we have got incidents of people being not paid for 2 years. And when they are paid, their pay are under the minimum, official minimum wage. People are employed under temporary contract and various ways of making sure that they are not covered by the national regulations. And in this sense, even those minimum standards that exist in the country are not afforded to the workers. So this is one side of what we do, and we try to raise awareness and also them doing something about it. The second part is that to making sure that trade unions have effective organizations, effective tools to be able to do a job which is effective and making bringing change in the country. By putting pressure, by bringing workers to demand this, and by making sure that internationally the fate of workers are seen for what it is. In effect, that international exposure to what is happening in Iran, in terms of a trade unionist to be imprisoned for 6.5 years for just being a trade unionist, or trade unionist being kept in isolation wards of the prison. We think that it is important that the Iranian government accepts that you have got to either be part of the international community or outside. You cannot have it both ways. The sanctions imposed on Iran were horrible because they, in effect, punished the Iranian people for the crimes and for the activities of the government. Many people lost their jobs, many industries were closed, the inflation became incredibly high. The Iranian money lost 2/3 of its value. In 2011, before the sanctions, 1,000 tomans, Iranian tomans, was equivalent to $1. Immediately after the sanction, this became 3,000 tomans to $1. You were paid by tomans, but you bought your necessities by dollars. So as a result, people became hungry. People lost their livelihood, and these were as a result. When you have got high unemployment, when you have got conditions of this nature, workers' rights also would suffer because you tend not to speak up. You tend to put your head down because you want them to take your wages back home to make sure that your family is fed, and there is something that that you could at the end of the month show to pay for the rent or to pay for. So generally speaking, this was a deterioration in a general term. But since 2005, we have had an upsurge of trade union activity. We have an upsurge of workers' activities. People wanted to basically have access to the international norms of regulating their working lives. ILO in 2004 and 2005 had a number of meetings and agreements with the Iranian government. That gave rise to the possibility of a number of projects for reviving trade unions in Iran be undertaken. One of them was our trade union, the Metal Workers and Mechanics of Iran's union, which in 2005 revived its activities, which had stopped in 1983. People are very, very determined to ensure that the situation is changed. They want Iran to agree that they have got to sign up and enact, implement the conventions of the ILO, including and in particular our conventions 87 and 98, as far as the trade union rights and rights to belong to trade unions is concerned.
And it is a good development that the Union of Metal Workers and Mechanics of Iran has applied for membership to IndustriALL Global Union. And now they have made an ILO complaint about the situation in Iran. Now, in the period to come, Iran will be on the agenda of our Global Union Federation, and we will be giving our full support to the democratic, independent, and free trade unions in Iran and we will be spotlighting this heroic struggle in the country where human rights are really restricted, under pressure, and IndustriALL Global Union will take it as a priority.